So, you've just downloaded H1Z1 on your PS4 and you want to go get a lovely winner-winner survivor dinner for your tea, but maybe you found the game a little bit overwhelming on your first go. Well, if you did, here are 15 top tips for H1Z1 beginners that should give you the edge against all the other noobs on the battlefield. First up, whether you're playing solos, duos or squads, you're going to need to get your bearings as soon as the game starts. You'll know when that happens because all of a sudden you'll be vomited into existence at a random location above the map and then left to glide gracefully through the air until you hit the ground. Use these first few moments to bring up your map and survey the surrounding area. The safe zone is shown instantly and you'll always be dropped either inside it or close by. Not all buildings and structures will be shown on the map, but some of the more elaborate locations will be signposted with purple markers. You'll also be shown the location of nearby vehicles, so use that to your advantage by dropping in fast, jumping into one of them, and then travelling to out-of-the-way areas so you can loot in peace. Navigating your way around the map of a brand new Battle Royale game can always get a bit confusing, but H1Z1's super dull visual style doesn't help matters by making scenery look very samey. That's why, along with the mini-map on the left-hand corner of the screen, you really need to keep an eye on your compass that runs along the top. Not only is this the best way to find out what direction you're heading in, but you can also use the compass to point out the approximate location of targets to your squad mates. You'll also spot a letter and number located at the centre of your compass. This is your grid location on the map, so you can tell whereabouts you are at a glance, which is a big help if you're trying to meet up with your crew in a hurry. To win a match of H1Z1, you're going to need guns, and lots of guns, because I'm afraid asking people nicely not to shoot you just doesn't work. When you first land, you'll have no guns at all, so you'll want to head straight to a nearby building or structure and get scavenging. Every action is performed by a simple press of the triangle button, so as soon as you see a gun on the floor, hammer that button to pick it up along with the box of ammo that should be close by. The most common guns you'll find at the start of the match are pistols, riot shotguns and Hellfire SMGs, which are these little automatic weapons that are great at close range but terrible at a distance. Later on in the match, you'll be able to find much better weapons, ranging from AK-47s through to super powerful LMGs. You should also keep an eye out for the crossbow, which comes with explosive bolts. It's slow to reload and only comes with a few bolts, but the splash damage of the fireballs it creates are often enough to scare off any aggressive opponent. It's also worth knowing that there are no PUBG-style attachments in H1Z1. Instead, the weapons are more like Fortnite, with scopes or sights already attached to higher-tier weapons. Fire modes are also fixed, so for instance the AK-47 is auto-fire only, while the AR-15 is set to single shot. When you first start scavenging for loot, you'll notice you can only hold a maximum of 2 guns, plus ammo. To hold extra guns, ammo and meds, you're going to need to find a bag. There are 2 types of bag in H1Z1. The most common is the backpack, which will unlock 1 extra weapon slot. The best bag is called the military backpack, and that will be mainly found in loot crates. The military bag gives you another weapon slot, allowing you to carry up to 4 different guns at once. That way you should be ready for any combat situation, be it long, short or mid-range. H1Z1 also comes with a variety of throwable weapons, which are accessed and scrolled through by pressing right on the D-pad. You'll find loads of these throughout the maps, and there's quite a big selection, including flashbangs, frag grenades, Molotovs smoke grenades and gas grenades. Because of this, it's always worth double checking what you're holding before you throw it. I almost let an opponent escape when I accidentally threw a smoke bomb at him rather than a Molotov. Luckily, he was shit at driving though, so I managed to get him as he tried to make his escape. Many players will run past H1Z1's boots without giving them a second look, mistakenly thinking they're just pointless cosmetic items. This is totally not the case though, because if you put them on, you'll notice your avatar gets a slight increase in speed. It's not going to make a huge difference in the long run, but it might give you the extra boost you need to escape the poison gas or outrun a hail of hellfire bullets. There are two armour types in the game, the helmet and the body armour, and just like the backpacks, each piece of gear has two tiers of strength. Standard helmets look like motorbike helmets and offer 30 points of damage resistance, while makeshift armour provides 50 points. The higher tier tactical helmets, like this one here, give you 50 points of damage resistance, while the strongest armour, the laminated tactical vest, gives you 75 points. So you've got a gun and you've got some protection, and now you want to shoot a thing. Well, to do that, you're going to want to understand what the hit markers mean. If you shoot at someone and you see a yellow hit marker pop up, that means your bullets have found their target, but they've only damaged your opponent's armour. Keep shooting at them and you'll soon see red hit markers popping up. This means you're doing actual bodily damage now, so keep it up because they'll be dead in no time. If you see white markers on screen, that means you're hitting a vehicle rather than the vehicle's occupant, so it's worthwhile conserving your ammo until you can get a better shot. If you take damage in battle, you're going to need to heal up. You can find bandages and medkits located all through the game world, and just like in other games, medkits heal much more than bandages, but they do take a little bit longer to put on. Bandages and medkits also slowly heal over time rather than in one big chunk, so bear that in mind if you're patching yourself up in the middle of a firefight. You may want to wait a second for your health to increase before you jump back into the fray. What you really need to watch out for in battles is H1Z1's bleed effect that can happen if you're severely wounded. Left untreated, you'll lose 1 point of health every second or so you're really going to need to med up as soon as you can if you want to put a stop to it. There are 4 types of cars in H1Z1: quad bikes, jeeps, police cars and pickups. There's not a huge amount of difference between them all, aside from space for passengers, speed and manoeuvrability, so really you're gonna just want to use them for getting from place to place as quickly as possible. Spotting cars in H1Z1 is pretty easy if you know what you're doing though, because the minimap will show you the exact location of any four-wheeled friends in the near vicinity. If you're struggling to spot them though, just remember that undrivable cars are almost completely colourless, whilst working vehicles have at least a little splash of colour on them. Much like Fortnite's chests in H1Z1, you can stumble across hidden loot crates by listening out for a special noise. In this case, that noise is a faint radio chatter that gets louder and louder the closer you get. If you hear one of these, you should really go investigate because they always hold at least some high-tiered gear or weaponry. Those aren't the only crates you'll want to be schnaffling though. H1Z1's planes will also drop loot crates at regular intervals and in much greater numbers than in Fortnite or PUBG. Airdrops come in 3 levels of rarity: green, purple and gold, with gold being the most valuable of all. Snag a gold crate and you should get awarded the best armours plus the LMG, a right beast of a gun that will tear your enemies to shreds. It's pretty easy to spot crates as their location will not only be shown on your mini-map, but you'll also notice a beam of light shining into the air marking their location. This makes them hotly contested though, especially the rarer ones, so bear that in mind if you're blindly running towards them. Oh, and also, if you catch one just as it lands, it's worth knowing that it takes about 20 seconds before the lootable crate pops out of the airdrop, so you can be pretty vulnerable if you just stood around waiting for this to happen. Did you know you can also loot dead bodies in H1Z1? Because you totally can. As soon as you kill someone, they'll drop a plain grey sack on the floor. If you run up to that and press triangle on it, it'll then pop that sack open, spilling its contents onto the floor in front of you. And finally, make sure you watch out for steep drops. Fall damage in this game can be a right dick, especially when you're having a fight on mountaintops where the floor isn't really that even, as I found out in this little clip here. Bastard!
This rock is safe. He's probably going to be on the other side of this rock.
Okay, those were my H1Z1 tips for beginners, but maybe you know something useful that I've missed. Let us know in the comments below, like and subscribe for more from Eurogamer, and do have a lovely day full of many H1Z1 wins, because you deserve it, you lovely person, you. Goodbye.
That's right, it's from the north. Oh, it's, yeah. It's northwest, the trees to the northwest. I see him.
Oh, yeah.
I hit him once. He's behind a tree.
Got hit.
Did we get him? I think we won. I can't move anymore.
Yeah!
Yeah! We survived!